Good afternoon, Wandsworth. Thank you for listening in. It is, of course, Monday, meaning it's time for New Music Monday, and I'm very, very excited to say in the studio, sitting opposite me, I have the lovely Martyn Peters. Hi, Martyn. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you so much for coming in. Do you know what I can't believe? So you work at the Grove.
I do.
And the Grove is literally our neighbour.
Yeah.
It is the Wandsworth Radio next door neighbour. We go in there all the time for our Christmas do's, our Christmas parties.
Yeah.
We've done pantomimes there.
Nice.
But I don't think we've ever met though.
I don't think so. No, I only work a few days. Only a few days. So, but I'm sure between now and Christmas, if the Christmas do happens, I'll be there.
Fair play. So you'll probably see us. You do great burgers, by the way.
They are amazing.
A little plug for the Grove. We love it. But of course, you're not here to talk about working at the Grove. We're here to talk about your amazing music career, which is doing incredibly well.
Thank you. It's slowly getting there.
Yeah, I heard about you because Dee Dee, who's a fellow Wandsworth Radio presenter, said, "Oh, have a listen to this guy." And I listened to your album Veins on Spotify. Loved it.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I was like, I've got to get this guy in on the show because I know it sounds really, really strange, but even the first song, as soon as the first song played, I was like, yeah, this is my jam.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I'm looking forward to you to be able to explain what you do and your music to all of our lovely, lovely listeners. When did you start performing?
So I started performing a long time ago. So I'm quite lucky. My whole family are performers or players of music. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my dad, my sisters. So it was quite inevitable that I was going to play. So probably because I'm from North Wales and we have a thing called the Eisteddfod. So when you're in primary school, you have to sing or do things like that. So I think the first time I was on stage was probably when I was about 5 or 6. So it's been ingrained into me since then. But then slowly I learned the guitar, learned the piano, and then slowly started playing in bands, and then just started to realise that I could write as well, and then just started to write some songs, and so that's basically how it happened. What
was that word that you just said?
Oh, the Eisteddfod. So it's basically it's the biggest youth movement in Europe. So it's where like craft and art and poetry and music and everything just melds together, and it's brilliant. It's really cool. All in the Welsh language as well. So.
Of course. So is this why everyone says that Welsh is like the language of song?
Yeah.
Or the nation of song?
Because you don't have a choice.
You have to sing.
In primary school, you're in a choir or you're on your own or you're with it's really ingrained. Like it's brilliant.
It is brilliant. I have to admit as well, the Welsh accent is quite sing-songy. It's quite melodic.
It is, especially if you speak Welsh. Like it's a bit like that. I think it's like the hills. It goes up and down, up and down.
That is the most Welsh you've sounded today. Before we went live, I was saying to Martyn, you don't really have a typical North Welsh accent that I was expecting.
No, but I do. I'm fluent Welsh, so I do speak fluent Welsh. And it does change. I'm not that far away from the English border and Liverpool and stuff, so it does get infiltrated a bit. But the more towards Anglesey you go, the more Welsh it gets.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I do the same when it comes to Jamaican accents.
Yeah.
The more around my family I am, the more of a twang comes out of nowhere.
That does happen as well. Yeah.
It's crazy. So you have been performing pretty much since you're a child.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Are you Beyonce level now, basically?
I'm not as good a dancer as her. But
I don't know. After 1 or 2 drinks, you know.
I know. I'm pretty good. I've started to have some really nice gigs and perform quite. I'm really confident in how I perform now. I feel because with the new album, I've just basically performed that for the past year, and I feel really, really good with it. You know, I feel like I know what I'm doing now. I feel
good.
Yeah, rather than guessing like you do at the beginning. You know, I feel like they've bedded in really nicely now, and I'm quite confident that I played them. So.
Fantastic. What number album was this one? Was this your debut? I couldn't remember.
This is my first album, but I used to be in a band called Ether, and the drummer plays on a few tracks on this album, and we released quite a few songs. A bit heavier, a bit bluesy heavier, but still songwriter based and strong lyrics and stuff. But this is the first actual finished completed album I've done. Yeah.
Oh gosh, what was that like, working on your own for a change?
Incredible. It was really good. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved playing with the band and they are such good musicians, but it was nice just to sit, me and the producer, and just knock our heads together and make this, you know. I mean, it's lovely to have influence from other people, but I just wanted that creative flow for myself and just see if I could do it, and I could. So that was nice.
And yes you could, definitely. And having listened to it as well, I have to admit the sounds of your album reminds me of a really good British rock pop. It's a sound that I haven't heard probably since like the mid-90s.
Yeah, funnily enough, a few people have mentioned that, and I think I grew up in the 90s, so I was all the Blue and Oasis thing, Pulp, you know, and even the Welsh bands like Feeder, Stereophonics, Manic Street Preachers. There was a real strong, and it was all about the song. It wasn't about okay, the style was really cool and stuff, but it was all about really strong melodies, really great sound, and that's basically what I wanted. I wanted that kind of memorable tracks, but still at the same time have good musicianship as well. So people who were musicians could go, oh, I like what I did with the guitar, but then people who have got no idea about music can go, oh, I love that melody, So I tried to marry the two.
Yeah, I think you really did a great. I love in fact, I think I read somewhere that one of your influences was probably the Smiths.
Yeah.
Which I could hear.
Yeah,
the Smiths, and I could hear that kind of Oasis Blur sound, but not as Britpoppy.
No.
And not as moody.
No.
But it really took me back to the songs that I used to grow up with, also having grown up in the 90s, and absolutely loved it as well.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Yeah. I think the whole point was not to be nostalgic, but just to nod towards it and then do something different with it,
Which I think you've done really well.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it's quite refreshing as well, considering at the moment all of music is essentially Afrobeat heavy.
Yeah.
At least all mainstream pop music.
Yeah.
And you've brought back a pop sound that I was wondering if it got lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really refreshing to hear that it hasn't.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think because there's a few bands at the moment that I really like there's a band called Nothing But Thieves that are kind of doing the same thing, and they've gone massive. So hopefully that kind of style can start to come back again with a bit of luck. So
well, there's always room for different genres anyway.
Yeah.
So one good thing about the internet is if you pop it on there, whoever wants to hear you can come and find you.
Yeah. There's a style for everybody.
Definitely.
So hopefully just because it's not like the mainstream, maybe it might mean that it's not a come and go thing. Hopefully it has legs to last a bit longer. So
definitely.
A lot of modern pop music might only have a lifespan of maybe a couple of months, but hopefully this will last a bit longer. Hopefully.
Well, Martyn will be performing one of his songs from Veins very, very shortly, so do stick around. I'll give you a moment to get set up and get your guitar ready, and we'll pop on This From The Feeling. Keep listening to Wandsworth Radio. Of course, if you have any questions for me or Martyn, send us a tweet to @Wandsworth Radio, #New Music Monday as well. Any comments, any questions you'd like, we'd be more than happy, wouldn't you, Martyn?
Absolutely. Bring them on.
Keep listening, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Wandsworth Radio.
Gotta love a bit of the feeling, don't you, Martyn?
Absolutely, I do like their first album.
Yeah, we were talking about how we haven't heard those in ages, and Sown, their first album, was amazing.
Yeah.
First song, sorry.
Yeah, there's a song called Sown. Yeah, I love that tune.
What were you saying about Fill My Little World?
It was the most played song of 2006. It was like on every radio station in the day. So if you get a bit bored by it, that's probably why.
That's why. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to you now, Martyn. What song are you going to be playing for our audience?
So today I'm going to do a song called This City, and it's track 2 off my album. And it's about, I used to go to university in the University of Liverpool, and it's basically about working a whole week, and then you just watch the sun go down, and then it's time to go out, and it's something that you've been looking forward to all week. Basically about, and it could be about any city, but it's about basically going out in a city and having a good time.
All right, well, in which case, without further ado, I will let you get on with it.
We watch the sun disappear. It gets replaced by the yellow of the streetlights. We feel like it's finally here. Take on the chemicals and let reality disappear. Like blood, we flow through the veins of this city. Like blood, we flow through the veins of this city. Now it's time to play our parts. And who will win and who will fall apart? We take on the night with open arms. I pray that she means us no harm. 'Cause like blood, we flow through the veins of this city. Like blood, we flow through the veins of this city. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Before too long the time is gone, and with heavy hearts we have to move on. 'Cause it's time to go home, no you just can't stay here. Gotta go somewhere with nothing to fear. Can I go home with you? 'Cause like blood we flow through the veins of this city. Like blood we flow through the veins of this city. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Who will break your heart in the heart of the city? Oh! Get lost, get lost, get lost in the city. Just feel, be real, be yourself in the city. Oh. I fall, but I'll never break down. This city will never hold me down. It's always been my home. 'Cause I fall, but I'll never break down. This city will never hold me down. It's always been my home. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Lights are shining bright in the city tonight. Who will break your heart in the heart of the city? Lights are shining bright in the heart of the city. She will break your heart in the heart of the city.
Wandsworth Radio.
Thank you for listening to Wandsworth Radio. I'm Akylah Rodriguez, here with you until 4 with some of today's best music, including brand new music from the lovely Martyn Peters, who's currently in the studio. Hi, Martyn.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for performing. If you just missed it, Martyn just performed his song "The City" from his latest album, debut album, Veins. It was an incredible performance. I will pop it back up online for all of you guys who missed it, so you can see it again. Tell me a little bit about the song "The City." It's one of my faves on the album, actually.
Thank you. Basically, I just love the idea of going out. That sounds a bit mad, but just the whole social interactions and the way that the sun gets darker and then the street lights get brighter, and then you just go out and you hope you're all going to make it until the end of the night, and you don't know who's going to end up where or what's going to happen. And basically, I just want to try and convey that in a bit of a more poetic way. Like one of the lines is, like blood, we flow through the veins of this city. So the idea was, and then all that comes through onto the artwork as well, if you look at the album. So my face on the album is like got road map at night, and that's supposed to be like the veins of a city, and the veins of a city is supposed to be like the streets and stuff.
That makes sense.
So it all kind of ties in with each other, and that was written about Liverpool, but it can be about any city or any town.
Fair play. I think the way you go out might be slightly different to the way I go out. What do you mean people end up in the middle of nowhere?
Well, you don't know, do you? I mean, because like you say, if you all got together and somebody goes off with another mate, and and they end up somewhere else, and it all ends up into a story, and then you don't want to go home, and there's another line at the end that says, "Can I go home with you?" and things like that, and just all the blurriness.
Are you a bit of a drinker or just an average?
I enjoy I enjoy being out and just being with people and having a laugh and that type of thing. I love that environment.
Fair enough.
Just, you can just relax and
Yeah.
I really like that environment. And there's a lot of song subjects that you can get from those type of nights as well.
Oh, I have listened. I can believe that.
Yeah, well, the track Sunday is about, which is on the album, is about, say after you've broken up with somebody and then you just go out on a night and then you wake up on Sunday and you realise it's still not all right and everything still isn't quite right. So there's kind of a theme.
Dare I ask, based on that theme, how your love life is doing?
Very well now, yeah, it's fine. In a new relationship, which is going with that. She's a musician as well. We met her in Camden open mic, so she's a really talented. Michelle O'Grady, check her out. Michelle O'Grady Music. She's got a great voice.
Cute plug for the lady in your life.
She's got a really cool voice, and hopefully we'll work together in a few months as well to try and do something new as well. So.
I was always told that dating a musician is possibly the worst thing you could do, and apparently dating a female musician is worse than dating a male one.
Maybe if you're not a musician yourself. I've never been in a relationship with another musician, so but so far it's going really well. So.
Fair play. I won't pry too much into any ex-girlfriend stories on the album or anything. Like that.
Basically the whole album. I think, like I was saying before about this city, social interactions, the way people work with each other and how it happens and stuff, and they've all got an inspiration behind them. I mean, not to go too deeply because I keep people guessing, but I try and write them in a way where they're personal to me, but you can listen to them and go, that happened to me as well, and I know what you're talking about. So like Drowning's about a personal event, but hopefully in a way where you can associate it to your own bits and bobs. And Drowning and Sunday are back to back for a reason. Like Sunday's about leaving somebody, but you've been with them for too long, but you both know it, but neither of you've got the guts to say it.
Oh wow.
And then Sunday is about what happens as soon as you leave them. So then you go out and you think you're all right, you have a great time, then you wake up on the Sunday and you're not all right. So they're back to back on the album for a reason.
So you put some thought into the whole album.
Yeah, it's all got a flow, and then it's all. Yeah, I tried to do it so it's got a good flow and it all makes sense, and it's not just a collection of 10 tracks.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why that track's one and that track. I've thought about it. It's not.
But like the old school days.
Yeah, because it's at the end of the day, I've spent 2 years and a lot of money doing this all by myself. I've written, recorded it. I've all the instruments on there I've played, apart from the drums and the cello. All the backing vocals are me. Everything's me. So this whole album is me. Even the strings that are on it, the cello parts, which was performed by a great friend of mine called Rosie Jones. I wrote the cello parts for that as well.
Wow.
Wrote them out. So this album is me. Like it basically is all me.
That must be so liberating to put you in a sound and visuals.
Yeah, it's because weirdly, I had no problem about putting my face on the front cover. But whereas I don't know, maybe I should have thought about it a bit and maybe be a bit self-conscious about it because that is me. But then I thought, well, that's what the album is. The album is me, So it kind of made sense to put my face on the front.
It's just an expression of who you are at this moment,
yeah,
which is what music is all about, really.
Exactly, all about. But it's an expression of me. But the whole point of it, and I think for what I get out of music, the whole point of it is this is me. But when you listen to it, you go, I know exactly what that person was talking about. Like I say, like my inspirations. When I was younger, going through harder things like relationship breakups or whatever, you'd listen to it and you know what that person was on about. And I just want somebody to do the same with my stuff. Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, you're taking your stuff on tour, aren't you?
Hopefully, I'm in the process of trying to organise a tour for the beginning of next year. So if anybody's got any suggestions of places I should go, feel free to email me or the show. Any good venues, and so I'm basically at the beginning stage of that, trying to find.
Are you keeping it just in London, around the UK?
No,
Europe?
I'd like to start with London and the south. Even draw a line from Cardiff across and then down, so like places like Bristol or Southampton or the south coast, something like that, or Brighton, places like that. And then maybe later in like kind of Easter time, go a bit further north, Manchester, because I've used to play Manchester and Liverpool quite a lot because that's where the area I'm from and stuff. So
that explains the accent. There we go.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So and I've had past experience in playing those cities, and they're great places to play. So small steps, just try and get the album out there. Really, just get good promotion, just get people to hear it.
Did I read somewhere that you'd been touring in Australia before?
I lived in Australia for 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Hence what Drowning's about. So I used to gig there quite a bit. I used to live in a place called Tamworth that had the biggest country music festival in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, nice.
So I've played that festival a couple of times.
I am a
yeah.
country music fan.
Well, you should get yourself down to Tamworth. 10 days of country music, nothing but...
Despite the, grand flight and the 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah,
24
worth it.
hours?
Yeah, but 20. You can do it in 21 if you're clever.
Yeah, because victory.
Yeah, small victory.
I've never been to Australia and really seriously want to go. And everyone
Yeah.
I keep meeting is being like, oh yeah, I was just there really recently for a year.
Yeah.
So I don't see why I haven't,
No,
haven't
you should.
made my way there
It's
yet.
it's worth going just because the experience is great, and just looking at the opera house is mad. In the Sydney Harbour Bridge is amazing. But yeah, I gig there. I wrote as well with a guy called Laurie Minson who had a fair bit of success out there as well. So I co-wrote a song with him as well. So I did bits and bobs out there. Yeah.
Co-wrote was playing all of the instruments at all of the time.
All of the time.
Because you are the multi-instrumentalist who just plays all of the instruments
Plays
all of the
everything.
time.
Yeah, trying
which
to.
is incredible. So when you're
Thank
on
you.
stage, do you kind of like run around?
No, I don't. It would be quite interesting. I want to play piano on stage, but unfortunately I don't have a piano. But what I try to do live, if I'm not with a band, is hit the guitar as hard as possible to make it sound like I am the band. You know what I mean? Like to try and get it to sound massive. I don't want it to sound like a stripped back version. I want it to sound like
I see what
this
you
is
mean.
the band. You know.
I see what you mean. Is that like the technical term? Hit it as hard as you
Just
can. so
smash
sounds-
it, yeah. Basically, and I've had really nice comments about how I play live and just try and be as big as I can. You know, I can jump
Yeah.
about and all that. So, but when I play with a band, that's my forte. That's I was lucky enough to play with the lads who appear on the album in a few festivals at home in North Wales, and that was just this. That's it. That's what I need to be doing, you know, with the band, because you just feed off the guys and you just just take the music above, you know. So,
I can imagine it being incredible.
yeah, it's great.
Well, you are going to be performing a cover for us in a moment.
Yes.
Have you decided which one it's going to be?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll leave it up to mystery. I'll let
Okay.
you. I will let you introduce it. While she gets it up, we will pop on another song. Do you like a bit of McFly?
I love McFly.
Do you
Yeah,
actually?
I do, yeah.
Oh, you're a man after my own heart.
McFly, great.
I love McFly. I haven't heard them in so long, but I was their biggest fan back in the early noughties. I saw them live and everything.
Did you? Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet they were good.
I had so many crushes. Like I couldn't even pick which one was my favourite.
No, Danny, Tom.
Honestly,
All of them.
depending on what mood I was in. That
Why do
says
I
a
know
lot
their
about
names?
because you secretly want to be in McFly.
Yeah,
Don't you?
absolutely.
Anyway, let's pop on a bit of McFly. This is You've Got a Friend, and then we'll be right back with Martyn Peters, who's in the studio going to be performing for us a cover. We don't know what it is yet. He's going to surprise us. But keep listening to At Wandsworth Radio and send us any tweets you would like to At Wandsworth Radio as well. Ask us your questions, give us your comments, and we'll be right back after this.
Wandsworth Radio.
There's no mistake, I smell that smell. It's that time of year again. The clocks go back, railway track. Something blocks the line again. And the train runs late for the first time. A pebble beach, we're underneath. Pier just been painted red. Where I heard the news for the first time. And all the friends lay down the flowers, sit on the banks and drink for hours. Talk of the way they saw him last, local boy in the photograph. Today he's gone away. He'll always be 23, yet that train runs on and on, past the place they found his clothing. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, bye. There's no mistake, I smell that smell. It's that time of year again. I can taste the air. The clocks go back, railway track. Something blocks the line again, and the train runs late for the first time today. And all the friends lay down the flowers, sit on the banks and drink for hours. Talk of the way they saw him last, local boy in the photograph. Today he's gone away. He's gone away. He's gone away.
Woo!
Thank you.
Love that song. Stereophonics, was it, did you say?
Yeah, Stereophonics, Local Boy in the Photograph.
One fellow Welsh band.
Yeah, well, it was in a former life, I was a drummer in my very first band, and it was one of the first songs that we played. So it was one of the first songs I ever played in a band. So I thought I'd cover it today.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Martyn.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely fantastic. Have you got any gigs coming up in London anytime soon?
Have I? Yes, I have. 2nd of November, I'll be playing in Hammersmith. But I can't remember where it is. Let me have a very quick look at it. Here we go. Fulham Broadway, actually, from 8 o'clock till 8:45. So it'll be a mixture of some covers and my album. And I'll have my album for sale as well if anybody wants it.
Well, there you go. You heard it here, first of all. If you want to check out Martyn, go and see him in Fulham Broadway. And, of course, where can they find you online?
So I'm everywhere. So the best place to go is martynpeters.com. And my name is with a Y as well. So it's MARTYN Peters.com. And then I've got my links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my things like that. So if you want to get in contact, just feel free, give me a shout, and yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in, and I cannot wait to have you back in probably in a few months when we see how Veins is going on tour as well.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, no, anytime.
Yes, do drop in. Thank you as well for listening. And again, if you want to hear this back, we will be popping it online on Mixcloud, so you can hear Martyn's amazing performances of his song The City from his debut album Veins, and as well the Stereophonics, which is a fantastic cover as well.
Thank you.
Keep listening, guys. We've got more coming up on the way, as well as the Office Hour, which is coming on at 2. But up next as well, we've got a bit of Skinny Living Fade. So keep listening right here to Wandsworth Radio.